Okay, looking back over the videos, I do see where we did not get all of the videos. 1 and 2 were erased. We had to erase 1 and 2 because I had to reset the system. Yeah, a bunch of drunkers was in my system messing it up. I just wanted to tell you the dream. 3 came up fine. Okay, 1 and 2 did not come out. 2.5 did not come up. Very good information. That's just gone through the database. Now, some of you had stated that you did receive it. You have received it. I guess YouTube threw it out there, and others did not. YouTube did not have a version of it, but it began to upload, and as it uploads, it automatically shoots out something they cannot stop. So some of you will get it, but it just won't post to the wall. But I wanted to tell you about the dream. Okay, the dream of yesterday that did not come up, and I think that was so awesome. And the Lord clarified a lot of things since I've last spoken. Anyhow, so it can only get better, or as they say, gooder. I had a dream, the one I told you took my breath away. I was going down the assembly line, and then going down the assembly line, there was a lot of folks standing around. And then I started going downwards. It's like the assembly line went straight, then it went up, and then it went down. And as I was going down, there was a hole at the end of the assembly line where the what you call the belt. It's like the belt, the rowing belt of the machine. It started to curve over, I guess, to go back under and start over. I was going to drop down in a hole. I said, I'm not going in that hole, and so I kind of stretched myself across the hole, and I got off because I didn't want to get in the hole. And so then as I was walking around the assembly line, because it went up, I was going like underneath there. Water started coming out, and I guess it was coming out of the hole. And before you know it, it was kind of flooding the place. And so we started flowing, and we got inside of a trash. Well, not inside, but it was like up to our waist, and the water was steady climbing high. We was in front of a trash can, and there was another guy there. I don't know what happened to the other folks I didn't see. That was, I assumed that they were covered or submerged under the water. I don't know, but I know that he said just hold on to the trash can, and it'll keep you from flooding because it was flowing. The water was flowing. It'll keep you from flowing. And I kept saying, I'm not gonna hold on to the trash can. I'm not gonna stay connected to the trash can. So I kind of let the trash can go, and I went around it. And when I went around, I kind of flowed into a big wave came, and that's when I rode on top of the wave. And as I was going in, um, the wave, I was so high up, I noticed there was some little ships at the bottom, and I couldn't see them at first, and I was able to see them, and then I saw the land, but I took a dive. And so I don't know why when I woke up out of my dreams, I was just, fighting. It's like I couldn't breathe, and I hate those kind of dreams because sometimes it makes you lose your breath. You know what I'm saying? And then make your heart palpitate. This time my heart didn't palpitate, but you're too busy trying to catch your breath. It's not one of the running dreams where you have to, have palpitations or whatnot. It was just one of those dreams that scares you, and there's a difference. And so when I woke up, I kind of laid here, and as I told y'all yesterday, I was just pondering some things in my heart, and that's when the Lord came up with that subject about oral sex, uh, uh, vagina, oral sex being hypnotic. It just popped in my spirit along with other things. And then the Lord began to interpret the dream to me. And I know earlier I started from the wave, but the Lord had already taken me back because I couldn't remember the first part. But as I sat here, I went to take a shower and came back. I kind of remembered the first part of the dream. The Lord said it was like the assembly line was the people trying to make you become who they want you to become. Uh, and it was nicer starting from the wave because the wave actually showed that the Lord had taken me up, and the wave actually, as I told you, I took a dive, and what the Lord said, you took a dive at the end of the wave. And I said, oh Lord, I got scared because that means you're going to come down. He said, no, that was a good thing because the wave had to come down. And had it come down on the land, I would have hit hard and it would have killed me, right? And it wasn't a physical death, but it was a spiritual death, and not like a church spiritual death, but you know how you go through things, you're dead to it, you're not enjoying it, but you're just going through it, So had I hit the land and it would have, killed me, I would have died. Then I would have been going through with no joy, with no happiness. But when I took a dive down inside of the ocean, I kept hoping that I didn't hit the ships. And they told me those were called merchant ships, something you have to go through when the Lord takes you up high. You go through merchant ships. And so I kept saying, oh, I hope I don't hit those ships. But I went down like in Baby Boy, and I came back up, and the Lord said that um, everything was leveling off. It's not like you were taking a plunder, like you were going under. It's not like you were going to give up and quit everything. It's like now I'm going to smooth things out. And then he began to tell me, in life, when you go or you're going through a process of going into a certain area, educated area, profound area, as we said, a high area, you go through a process of people. And there are people, the assembly line was symbolic for folks who are trying to change you, especially in the black world. As I preached about 3 or 4 days ago, black folks always want to go through and then they compare their stuff with Caucasians. And I say that very softly because I don't want to offend anyone. But we do. We have to not just enjoy our accomplishment, but we have to prove that our accomplishment made me like you. I'm better. I'm as you, and so we have to change everything about ourselves, change the way we talk and change the way we walk. And, we weren't born like that, but yet we changed it, just so we can sound like them, And so the assembly line is to look at you and say, okay, I'm up here, and it's like we compete with race. A lot of folks can't enjoy their success because they have to compete with somebody else, and so you compete with race, and you're looking at the assembly line of folks trying to fix you up. Your education not right. I have to make you this, got to make you that. And so the assembly line is symbolic for folks trying to change you. And then the whole, the Lord showed me, sometimes folks, and it's funny because afterwards I thought about Tyler them. I said, a lot of them are still stuck in the hole. And when you're stuck in that hole right there, because it's right there at the tip of the assembly line, you tend to hold back other productivity. And so a lot of them are still stuck right there at that hole. They're stuck. I refuse to go inside the hole. I put my arm across like on a cartoon, and so I got off of it, and I didn't go in the hole, but a lot of them are still stuck. They're stuck trying to become something that God hadn't called them to be, or they're not, they can't, be, they can't fit into, and so they're stuck right there on the assembly line, and folks trying to change them, trying to become who that person wants them to be, and so they get irritable, and they start, stopping others, because, you can't go any further. Civilized stop when somebody's stuck, and so then the Lord showed me that the trash can were people trying to contain you, trying to hold you. You become worthless when you're in the garbage, You once was something valuable, useful to someone, and then they got tired of you, they used you up, and they threw you in the trash can. And so that's what the Lord's saying, and you have to bypass all that. And so once, and even stand in front of you, you are within their reach. So for someone to grab you, use you, and throw you away. Or even, like I said, worthless, they're making money off of you. And then I went around the trash can, and the wave came and took me up higher. Once you overcome those procedures, you can go somewhere. Because what they're trying to do, folks try to hold you back at their level. And some of them feel like this is it, and it's not it. They're happy there because they're a lot further than where they were. Or people began to accept them in a certain area so they didn't go any further. And the Lord said, when you come out of the reach of folks, you can go up higher in places they've never gone. Jesus even said greater work, and we think Jesus is it. And he said greater work, and we start right there as being Jesus. And so the Lord said, you went around the trash can, I took you up high, and yet you wasn't floating, as I told myself. I said, sometimes you go inside the water, because man can't stand on water. But my feet were standing flat foot on the water, and it wasn't sinking into it. And I thought, okay, maybe the force of the water would keep you up on it, but it was still, you have to be submerged in the water. But yet I was on top of the water, and I was kind of fearful up there. I noticed that's what the little struggle was, even in my sleep. But I was yet on top of the water, and I was floating. And then I saw the land, and I got scared, and I said, oh, wow. And I took a dive, because I knew we were going to crash, Sometimes you're up high, you say, you know what? I mean, and something else that came to me, the wave was up abnormal, So a lot of times you think you're falling. Sometimes you're at abnormal places. It's not meant for man to be up that high by himself on top of water. So it's abnormal. It has to come down back to what is normal, the level you're supposed to be at. That is a comfortable level, and that's when you can flow. When you get into an area of comfort, you can flow, you know. Now, as I began to look beyond the tsunami, the Lord said, don't even go that far, because a tsunami can flow depending upon the height of it. It'll flow for the longest, until it comes to a point of, okay, and we're not going to look beyond that point. As we said, don't look beyond that point, because I said, oh, okay, but he interpreted the dream to me, and that's what it meant. And that's what I want to let you know. I mean, hopefully you learned something from this. I didn't want the devil to cut that off. People who are just stagnated, they tend to hold on to those that are fresh. And so you can have compassion for them. Well, nah, I don't have compassion for them. Kick them in the butt and walk about your business.